Good morning, everyone. My name is Bill, and this is my presentation. Now, ladies and gentlemen, Martin Luther King Jr. once said that we must learn to live together as brothers or perish together as foes. He said this quote back in his famous speech in 1964 when America was still very socially divided. People are treated differently because of their skin color and their status. Now, through this quote, Martin Luther wants to emphasize that humanity's survival is based on connection, not division. And from this quote, I want to ask you a question. In a divided society, how does brotherhood help us survive? Now, you guys can figure out the answer pretty easily because in a society like that, having a connection, company, and solidarity means that we can help each other to push through hard times and barriers. And today, I would like to present a book which is about brotherhood in a divided society. It's called The Outsider by Susan Eloise Hinton. Now, let's get started. The book takes place in the 1960s in the city of Tulsa, Oklahoma. Now, the city in the book is divided into two parts. Firstly, we got the West, which is where the socialists live. They are the rich people. They got fancy clothes, expensive car, and big houses. But on the East is the completely opposite. We get the greasers. They are mostly working class people. They got torn out clothes and they smell filthy. Now in the book we will follow a group of teenagers and they are on the greasers, which means that they are on the poor side. And we will see how they survive in a split society. Firstly, we will look at the book's argument. The books want to emphasize that social classes is like a barrier that completely shatters a shared humanity. It won't bring anything but fear, pain, despair, and even violence and rivalries. And throughout the book, there are many ideas to support it. One of them is that innocent people suffer the most because in a society like that, the one that causes conflict and violence usually the one has more power and control, and they also usually ignore moral limits. And the one that has less power or control and less responsible for the conflict are the one that get less protected from. Let's take a look at the example of Johnny State, a greaser, and Bob Sheldon, a socialist. Now Bob and the other socialists try to bully Johnny and his friend, and even try to harm them. In a desperate attempt to defend himself and his friend, Johnny accidentally stabbed Bob to death. Now you may wondering why are children even allowed to bring knives? That is because the soldiers and greasers always fighting together. So much so that they started bringing knives just to defend themselves. Now anyways, the experience of killing someone has completely ruined Johnny. He lost his innocence and naivety. Now that's the book's argument. But I think there's another important aspect of the book. This is to show the importance of brotherhood. Now let's dive into that. Let's take a look at the example of the cutest brother, the main protagonist of the book. We got Gary, Soda Pop, and Pony Boy. Now they all lost their parents in the accident, so Gary, the oldest one, had to be responsible for raising his two younger siblings. He gives up college, works two jobs at the same time, and he's become the parents of the others. Then we got Soda Pop, the middle one. He worked at the gas station, and instead of giving physical support, he gives them love and mental support. And finally, we got Pony Boy, the youngest. He's still at school, so he didn't do much, but he's the one that holds the family together. He's the one that makes the other feel responsible and make them want to sacrifice. Next, we will talk about the counter arguments because brotherhood definitely not the best thing in the world. Because brotherhood is just like a tool for survival in a divided society, not a solution for it. Let's take a look. One of the biggest flaws of brotherhood is that it can lead to violence. Let's look at Bob Sheldon again. After he gets killed, the other soldiers, let's just say, they are not comfortable about it, and they are seeking for revenge. So they want to put up a fight with the greasers, a big fight. Then both sides started recruiting people. Many of them joined because firstly, for their status, they want to look tough. But also because their brothers and friends also join as well. So this leads us to an event called the Rumble, where groups of greasers and soldiers fighting with each other. Now, before I end this presentation, let's look up my final thoughts about this book. Through the outsiders want to show us that how a broken society has damaged a generation of children, and in that society, brotherhood is pretty much the survival hope for people. But brotherhood is like a dual blade sword. On one blade, it gives us support physically and mentally, but on the other blade, it only brings us pressure, violence, and even make the situation worse. So through this book, want to show us how dangerous it is when society fails itself. That is the end of my presentation. Thank you for listening.